Oh shit. All right, here we go. What's up, guys? And we are back again. We're back again, you know. And thanks first of all, thanks for clicking and tuning in because you didn't have to, but you did, and I'm very grateful. So, let's get into some stuff. Let's get into it. Cause there's stuff, there's stuff, right? Everyone knows that there's stuff, and we're gonna get into it right now. So, cool, yeah, welcome back, and we're gonna I'm gonna provide you with some updates on my artwork and stuff today. You've got a list here, and I'm excited. But firstly, I want to talk to you about a new show that well, it's not a new show, but a new show for me because I've just started watching it, and it's called Chernobyl, right? So, you might have heard of it. I think it's pretty popular at the moment. I'm trying to get into more like of the, hip stuff, like what's going on now currently. And Chernobyl is actually not one of those things that is happening currently. That was the Chernobyl disaster. That was back in the 80s. But the show Chernobyl, the one that started this year. So, I just want to recommend this show, to be honest, because I think it's a great show. I'm enjoying it so far. I just finished episode 3, and I think there's only 5, so I'm already past the halfway mark. So if there's any expert on the show, it's me. But yeah, no, I just want to recommend it because I think it's a great way to learn about the Chernobyl disaster. And the Chernobyl disaster is when like a nuclear power plant reactor exploded and a bunch of nuclear radiation went spreading across Mother Russia. And I think this show is a good way to learn about that and also be entertained. And there's parts of this show that just really make you proud to be a human being, because there's people just making the ultimate sacrifice left, right, and center. Back in this time. To prevent any further implications that the explosion might have, to stop the spread of the radiation spreading to vaster reaches. So if you're feeling like you need some motivation, maybe if you're feeling a little cowardice in life, watch this show because there's a lot of bravery that might be inspiring for you. And there's also one creepy scene that I want to just talk about, and it's not a spoiler because we all know that the nuclear reactor exploded. But there's a scene where when it first explodes, there's like a glow around the Chernobyl thing. there's a glow around it, and it looks quite nice. It looks quite nice. Um, contrary to the fact that it's super deadly and poisonous. But it looks super nice, and all the people around the village, I mean the town of Chernobyl, they look out and they see it looks nice, and a bunch of people, they go in for like a closer look, and it's like a little event. All the neighbors are getting together and saying like, "Oh yeah, do you want to go down to Chernobyl and see the lights?" That's kind of what they're saying, but they really don't know that they're kind of exposing themselves to radiation. So they all set off like it's a nice little trip, and it's like in the middle of the night, so it's kind of like I can even imagine like how that felt. It's like one of those special little, like grab the kids, like wake up the kids. It's like a little let's go see like the fireworks or something. And they go, and you see, and there's a part where they're all like on like a bridge or something, and like all this dust from the nuclear plant starts to like, it starts to come down, and it looks like snow, and it looks pretty, to be honest. If I'm honest, I don't want to get into like I don't want to get all politically correct, but it looks nice, even though what's actually raining down is like radioactive matter or whatever, or it's like symbolizing the radioactive matter that's kind of pervading the continent. And there's like a scene where like there's like there's kids, and they start like playing in all this dust that's falling down, and they're having like so much fun, but then like there's like a ominous music in the background, and that's like, and it almost sounds like the music is actually saying like radiation. Well, that's what I was thinking. Radiation. And this kind of tune kind of plays throughout the show, like in times where, and it seems like it plays when people are oblivious to maybe that they might be getting contaminated, like someone might be like taking a drink from the stream, and then in the background it's just radiation. So that kind of gave me the creeps a little bit. So it's nice for the spooky month of Halloween as well. But no, check out the show if you're into that kind of thing, getting a bit spooked while also being educated, but while also being motivated to be courageous as well. And that's the main thing that I like about it. It's like, you get to see a lot of courage in the people, and it makes you feel grateful for some people. And then I even start to think about people in like the army, and even like the fire brigade, people that you don't really think of all the time. And I just started to feel grateful for those people out there. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to just get into, like a little thing to start this off, because sometimes I don't want to dive straight into talking about my artwork, because it feels like I'm being aggressive or something. Like when you ever go up to someone, and then maybe you have something to say, but you might want to butter them up a bit for, oh, hey Tom, is that a new jacket? Oh, wicked, man. Where'd you get that? And then you're like, oh, by the way, I'm selling my car, and if you want to buy it, if you're interested, just or if you know anyone who's interested, just please tell them about it. And a nice jacket, man. So that's what I was doing there, talking about Chernobyl, this show. But I've got, some things written down that I want to talk about today regarding my artwork. And also, firstly, just in case you haven't seen my artwork, go and check it out, because you're going to find the latest stuff on Instagram. If you're scrolling through Instagram, and this might pop up in your head, search for Barrie Leachman, and you'll find my latest work. And also, if you're curious about buying some stuff or seeing some of the animations I've made, you can go to barrieleachman.co.uk and find that stuff there. It's got a store. And it's got like a gallery. It's got a gallery of mostly old work though, but I'm gonna get round to updating that at some point. And it's got, some fun stuff on there as well. And I actually got a call from GoDaddy, and if you don't know who GoDaddy are, they're they're who I bought my domain name with, and they just like called me up and they were like, "Oh, yo, do you want to?" And usually, it's kind of annoying when a company calls you up. But they were like, "Yo, do you want us to make your website? Do you want that privacy thing going on?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. I actually wanted that." And they were like, "Yeah, we know." They were like, "Yeah, we know." So I still haven't actually activated it, but hopefully I'll do that in the next couple of days. But so that when you go on it, it'll have a little padlock in the search bar, so that you won't be freaked out like, "Oh, is this a scam?" Because when I see a website that has that padlock and it's open, I'm thinking, maybe this is from, a foreign country that maybe might be trying to scam me or something. I start to get those kind of vibes. But yeah. So do all of that. Do all of that. But I want to talk to you about, the projects that I'm working on right now, and it's kind of a continuation of what I have been already working on. So last video I talked about the Honda piece that I just finished, and I mentioned a little bit about how I was trying to create a type of aesthetic to represent some of the stories I want to tell with my art. So this week, what I've been thinking of is some characters that will work well visually with that style of drawing. And this has been something that I've been putting off, right? And I've got here written down daunting, and that was to kind of remind me of this point I'm about to make. But lately I've been feeling a bit I've been putting that off, creating characters, because I feel like that's such like a big step in creating a universe. The characters, that's a big part of it. Sound like the background, as you can tell from that title, can take that's the background, but sometimes the forefront of the universe sometimes is the characters. So where that's been such a big thing, it's like it's such an important thing to have an interesting universe. I've been like putting it off because it's like I found it's been a bit daunting, you know. Um, sometimes you have like, and I've written down here, living up to grand ideas. Um, yeah, sometimes well, in my head, I want the universe that I'm creating to be interesting and grand. I have grand ideas for this universe. So it's it's easy to procrastinate because you know starting off on when you have a grand idea, starting off trying to execute that, um the products you might be producing might not be so grand. So that can be a bit discouraging because you're thinking, oh man, I've got such a long way to go. So I think I just didn't really want to face the fact that this is such a big task that I'm taking on. Um, so that's why I've been procrastinating a little bit. However, this week I thought, let me just get into it, and you know what? The thing is with those kind of things, it's always like it's always way more dramatic in your head than when you actually get started with it. So one evening this week, I just started drawing. It's just sketching, and I tried to be real loose with them with these sketches and sketching to try and come up with a character that could potentially be my protagonist. I'm not sure if I'm having like kind of roles like that, but could potentially be a protagonist in this universe that I want to create. And at first, like I said, as expected, it was a little disappointing. I was just drawing stuff and not really feeling satisfied with what I was coming up with. But I stayed persistent, stayed strong. There was a lot of this going on, like, and I'm gonna pick that up because I actually need it. But there was a lot of that going on that evening. But yeah, I stayed persistent, and I feel like I'm starting to figure out something that, like a look that I would be kind of happy with um for a character, for a character for this world. So it was nice to finally start getting to work on that, and yeah, it feels relieving because now that step's over, I feel like things will flow a lot easier. I found this like particularly difficult as well because I was trying to create on this particular day I was trying to create a male character, and I'm usually drawing women, so that I was a bit out of my comfort zone there as well. And this is kind of crazy because of the fact that initially, earlier on in my kind of drawing career, I guess, my drawing endeavors, I felt way more comfortable drawing male characters than I did female characters. So it's a little ironic that now I'm struggling more with the male characters, but and it's even more ironic because there was like a time where I said to myself, okay, I'm just gonna focus on drawing, female characters for a while because I noticed that that was my weak point. So now it's like even like that's become my strength now, and drawing male characters is my weak point. But it's all swings and roundabouts, as they say. So I still now I need to just work on um my male characters again. Um, but I feel like it's coming a little bit quicker than it coming a little bit more naturally than it did when I started to pursue the skill of drawing female characters because I already there was a time in my life where I was comfortable with creating male characters. But I just feel like my skill set has increased since that point where I was drawing mainly males. So now I need to just come up with male characters that kind of fit my skill set now, rather than the male characters that I drew back then. So it's all that growth, and that's what we all about, that growth. So yeah, it's quite exciting, and like I said, I've started to figure out a kind of look that I'm kind of happy with, and it's given me the confidence to that I will be able to figure it out. So I feel good about starting that, and I think next I'm going to work on a piece with a male character and a car next, and try and really establish that aesthetic that I want to go for. So I'm excited for that, and I hope to be able to fill you guys in with all of that, all the updates on that, and I encourage you to check out my Instagram if you want to follow along with the updates on that, because usually when I'm working on stuff, I'm posting the progress on my Instagram stories. So if you're interested in figuring out what my male characters, are looking like, or what, just what this universe that I'm trying to create is, how it's coming together, I recommend that you check out my Instagram. So yeah, that's really the stuff I've been working on with my artwork this week. And yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about it. Now I've kind of established a vague design. Yeah, I'm excited to just take that and run with it a little bit. So yeah, that's been my artwork this week. Just taking it one step at a time. That was a real generic thing to say. Other than that, though, this week I've been what else have I been doing? Oh yeah, today actually. Today I've started a new diet which I'm excited about, and that's the keto diet. And that wasn't even on my A4 slip here. So I'm quite happy that I remembered that. And so, and I want to get into, because starting a diet, right? I feel like for me, I have no trouble following a diet, but the main problem for me is kind of having to explain to everyone that you're on a diet, and that maybe you can't eat that, and trying to not offend people, and not try and sound like you think that you're better than them. And I wonder if anyone can relate to this, but like I'll be at work and people will be offering me stuff and I'll be like, no, I'm good. I'm on a diet, and they're like, oh, you don't need to be on a diet and all of this, and then blah blah blah. But but I want to try out this diet because there are a lot of benefits that uh that I think that I would that I'm kind of looking for. Things like improvements are like in quality of life that I'm looking for, that this diet suggests that maybe it could provide. And it's stuff like having a more steady energy, steady energy level throughout the day. That's something I really want because with work and artwork and gym, I don't want to be crashing at any times of day, because I'm trying to pursue all of these endeavors. So I want to have that steady energy levels so that I'm not peaking and troughing, because sometimes maybe I'd feel oh, I would get home from work and maybe crash a little bit, or I would go to the gym before work with a lot of energy and then afterwards feel really fatigued and then have to go to work and then maybe try and pick myself up with some carbohydrates, and then my energy would dip again by the time I'm getting to the end of my shift, and then the end of my shift drags. I get home and I have no energy to focus on my artwork. I just want to kind of snooze and chill. So hopefully it will help with that. Brain function, cognitive functioning apparently improves when you're in ketosis. So that's cool. That's great. Who doesn't want to be more have those cognitive powers? I might be able to do some telekinesis by the end of this. Also, yeah, I don't know what else, what other benefits I'm looking forward to, maybe having. But yeah, I do feel that the main thing, carbohydrates do make me feel a little bit sluggish. So I'm looking forward to trying to see if getting my energy from fats and proteins will help with that sluggishness that I'd be feeling sometimes. So yeah, that's cool. I ordered like a bunch of meat from an organic farm. And what was Eversfield, I think. Let me just Google that. Eversfield organic delivery, if that's a thing. Yeah, Eversfield. And I got a delivery from them, and that came on Wednesday, and the quality, if you're into quality meats, I suggest trying out something like this. I'm using this one, Eversfield organic, and all their stuff's organic. You get that grass-fed beef, and the I made a curry with the chicken the other day, and one thing that I noticed with the chicken is that once I had finished eating the chicken and it was delicious. First of all, actually, before I even ate it, as I was frying it, I noticed that it was frying better because there was no like water coming out of the chicken. And I always hear about these chickens getting pumped with water to make them look bigger and stuff, getting kind of brined up, getting kind of bloated and stuff. And there was none of that with this chicken. It was frying, and just a little bit of like oil from the fat was coming out from the skin. But there was no water, so it was sizzling the whole time, and it wasn't like, when you cook, some of these lazy chickens, non-organic kind of caged hens, I've noticed that there'll be water coming out, and then, if you got a big pan full, it starts to just kind of steam, whereas you want it to be sizzling. So that was something I noticed. Then the next thing, no, even before that, I was looking at it, and the skin, they're real lean. They don't have that thick layer of fat beneath the skin. So that was good as well, because you don't want like too much saturated fat in your chicken either. The meat was nice and like pink, whereas some of these supermarket chickens, they look kind of like grayish, whitish, yellowish maybe. Yeah, and just pale. But this was nice and pink, kind of. And my dad was like, "Is that duck?" And I was like, "No, these are those organic chickens from Eversfield." So that was good. And then the last thing I noticed with the chickens is when I'd, finished, did that. When I did that bit, the bones were like hella strong. Like usually with these chicken bones, you can kind of like bite them and they'll be spongy. They'll be, snapping. They'll be real brittle. But these ones, you couldn't even really break them without, I don't know, maybe if I use extreme, like if I chalked up my hands, powerlifter style, I could have, snapped it. But, not with a regular, you want you have to use a lot of force. So that kind of signified to me that the chickens were healthy, and I kind of also signifies that maybe they even had like a nice life roaming around the fields or something, not all cooped up. So that was good. And so the quality is good. I had some beef as well, that was good. Grass-fed stuff. And that's what I've been looking for. So, I can talk about this stuff all day because I'm quite into meat, quality meats. I like my quality meats, and yeah, so I'm happy with that service, and I'm definitely gonna be with this diet, it's mainly protein and fat, so I'm gonna be eating a lot of meat, and I don't want to be eating a lot of trash meat, so I'm gonna be hitting up Eversfield. And yeah, that's it really. I just wanted to mention that I finished watching that The People versus O.J. Simpson miniseries, and that was so interesting. That was a very interesting series, and like I didn't really like have an opinion on the OJ stuff, and like after watching this series, I kind of had like a few days of being obsessed with OJ Simpson, and that trial. So I did like a lot of like looking at YouTube videos of him, and like interviews with people on the case, and interviews with like friends and stuff, and I came to my own verdict, and I because before I didn't really know the story, but I think he did it. I think he killed those two people back in 1994, June 12th, I think. I think he did it. But the craziest thing is that, and man, like, I might just be nuts. And obviously, I think it's, horrible that, someone would do such a thing. But, I even felt sorry for him. I was watching some interviews with him, and I felt like he was lying a lot of the time, and like just not being able to face the truth, and yeah, cool, you know. But I'm just being honest. But I felt sorry for him, you know, I'm trying to keep it real over here, love it or hate it. We speak in straight facts over here. So, um, yeah, I felt sorry for him, even though he'd probably done it, and I think he should have went to jail for it. But I still felt bad for him. But yeah, I do also feel bad for the victims and the victims' families. But that was wild. That was wild, and I found it weird that I felt sorry for him, even though that he probably killed 2 people. But like I said, we speak in straight facts, so love it or hate it. And speaking of murder, actually, I've been having that YNW Melly song on my mind. And it's funny that I have it on my mind because the name of the song is "Murder on My Mind." And this is going full circle today. Wow, "Murder on My Mind" is on my mind. That song, and it's on my mind because last week my niece and my little sister and me were kind of saying how Melly seems like a bit of a silly name. But yeah, that song by him, "Murder on My Mind," and I'm not even. Listen, and listen, love it or hate it, we speaking straight facts right here. But one time I listened to that song and I actually cried, and that sounds ridiculous. That sounds ridiculous now that I'm saying it, but keeping it real, I'm keeping it real here. But one time I listened to that and I actually cried, and and it's for a similar reason. Like I feel like I felt sorry, like, because in the song he's talking about killing someone, and I think that he actually did, and like I actually felt sorry for him that he did it. And yeah, maybe I need to, maybe I'm nuts. But and I felt sorry for the Joker as well when I watched the Joker movie. In case you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm just saying I felt sorry for him. But yeah, call me nuts and call me like a bitch for crying too. I got murder on my mind. I got murder on my mind. Take her around this body. But yeah, I cried one time when No, oh wow. Just saying it out loud, it's ridiculous. But like I said, love it or hate it, we speak in straight facts. But yeah, one time I cried when I listened to YNW Melly's "Murder on My Mind." And it's kind of a sad, it's got a bit, let me just play it like a little snippet. Because I just want to. I'm just feeling a bit. Like, let me get it. YNW Melly.
Oh, damn. Like,
You know, that's a sad melody right there. Um, let's go to the lyrics. Nah, yeah, I don't feel silly anymore because that is sad. And that's sad. He killed his friend and now he's sad about it. So yeah. Anyway, signing off with YNW Melly, Murder on My Mind. Thanks for listening this week and catch you next time. I got murder on my mind.